Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 and 52. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, where shall I be when the first trumpet sounds?
Children,
where shall I be when the first trumpet sounds? Where shall I be when it sounds so loud? When it sounds so loud, till it wakes up the dead. Where shall I be when it sounds?
oh, I'll be
Somewhere listening.
Oh, I'll be
Somewhere listening.
Oh, I'll be
Somewhere listening for my name.
Oh, I'll be
Somewhere listening.
Oh, I'll be
Somewhere listening.
Oh, I'll be
Somewhere listening for my name.
When he
Calls me,
I will
answer.
When he
Calls me,
I will
answer.
When he
Calls me,
I will
answer. I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
When he
Calls me,
I will
answer.
When he
Calls me,
I will
answer.
When he
Calls me,
I will
answer. I'll be somewhere listening for my name.
When it sounds so loud. The oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As we know, we are nearing to keep the Feast of Trumpets, which is going to be Sunday night, first day night. At sundown, we will begin celebrating our Feast of Trumpets. Now, we have learned through our studies that the voice of Yahweh, our Elohim, is likened unto the sound of a trumpet. We know that that also includes the thunders, the lightnings, the quaking, all of that as well. Revelation 1 and verse 10 says, I was in the spirit on the Adonai's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. Now, we must understand that the voice of Yahweh is likened unto a trumpet. But we also have to understand that he states that I am that I am. So do not limit Yahweh to the sound of the trumpet, because understand that even the trumpet itself, having a distinct sound, also has the ability to play different notes. So there are different sounds that will proceed from the same instrument. So then when we consider the voice of Yahweh, Yahweh also uses man as an instrument, and he plays different notes through the words that they speak unto the children of Israel. The real question is, will we understand the voice of the trumpet even when the trumpet is not a trumpet? Let's begin today's sermon in Numbers chapter 10, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10. Numbers chapter 10, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Make you 2 trumpets of silver, one a whole piece. Make you 2 trumpets of silver, of a whole piece shall you make them, that you may use them for the calling of the assembly and for the journeying of the camps.
Okay, so right off the rip, the sound of the trumpet is calling the children of Israel. So he's getting Israel accustomed to, when you hear this, you move. And he even has different notes for different actions. Go ahead.
And when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to you at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Which is why we begin with the blowing of the shofar. We're not just doing some things because, it sounds cool or we saw it on the internet. These things have scriptural basis, okay? And you can tell when you get people who have been somewhere else and they just used to hanging out. They take blowing the shofar, it's a game to them. We've had individuals that just show up and just pulled out the wrong horn and just blew it. Didn't ask anybody what was going on, didn't even try to see the protocol. Just start blowing the shofar. Then it was the wrong kind. It wasn't even a ram's horn. But they had come from a place where that's the kind of playmanship that they have going on. Everybody walking around with a shofar. It's 50 shofars in the room. They think they're a Hebrew band. They got a drummer and everything. They got the band. They look like P-Funk. There's some cat coming up with the diapers on the outside. I mean, what are y'all doing, man? This is not a band. This is not a feast of musical instruments. Let's not get this twisted. Okay? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. And if they blow but with one trumpet, then the princes, which are heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather themselves unto you.
Right. So there's movement. See, this is a part of respect and not respect. When you tell Israel, you can tell where there's indignation and disrespect. When you ask somebody to do something and you see that they don't respect your action because they keep doing whatever that is they're doing. When Yahweh blows the trumpet and you keep standing there, it shows that you don't have respect for him. It shows that you don't have respect for his authority. Same thing it shows you when you tell a kid, excuse me, can I get you to stand out, get out the street? And the kid keep walking in the street, he has no respect for you. He does not respect the sound of your voice. He said, you know what, I'm not listening to that, what you got to say. Same thing with Yahweh. He blow the trumpet, you keep sitting, you showing him, I do not respect you. And my elder always told me, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
When you blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east parts shall go forward. When you blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey. They shall blow an alarm for their journeys. But when the congregation is to be gathered together, you shall blow, but you shall not sound an alarm. And the sons of Aaron, the priests, shall blow with the trumpets.
So when we start getting into these official settings, you may all have, shofars at your house. And your kids can play with the shofar and blow it. Understand, when we start getting into to specifics and outside the house, understand how you going to hold that and how you going to deal with blowing that shofar. These are men, priests, when we get ready to do official things, who blowing the shofar. Not just some dude that just come out the back. Now all of a sudden everybody got a shofar blowing it. And see, some people, you can get a shofar on the internet for $29.99. If you want a little one, you get your $29.99. But do you understand why you calling him and how to call him and what you gonna do when he show up? Did you condition yourself for if he show up? You just picked up the shofar and start blowing. Now what happens if he show up? Man, why this place nasty? You didn't even clean up before you called me? See, that's what happened when you just get you a shofar on the internet and you don't understand what you're doing. You blowing. What happened if he answered? Then, now you done got your whole house scolded because now Yahweh want to know, why you call me and this place look like this? Go ahead, priest.
And they shall be to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generations. Verse 9. And if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppressed you.
Make sure you understand this. If you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresses you. Now, this is where things get interesting. Yahweh told Israel, as your people grow, I'm going to take other people's land and give it to you. Now, this is where Yahweh's law is so amazing that within, he didn't give us the right to just go and like the other people taught us in school.
It was my manifest destiny. We must control everything all out west to the waters. Manifest destiny.
That's what they call covetousness. Covetousness didn't sound good, but manifest destiny sounds immaculate. It sounds like you was born to steal other people's belongings. That is absolutely amazing. I'm waiting to see a brother use it in court. Why did you take this individual stuff? Your Honor! It was my manifest destiny to have his stuff. What? This is what they taught us in school. It was their manifest destiny to take other people's land. Then pass a law against stealing. Well, I guess they done stole everything. So if you steal now, you stealing from them. It was legal when they stole it. Then they passed a law against stealing. Funny how that worked.
No more stealing. Now that I've stolen everything. Stealing is illegal.
Absolutely not. You are not righteous if you do it. I mean, I was when I stole, but it was different. Sure it was. Go ahead, priest.
Then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahweh your El, and you shall be saved from your enemies.
So consider that. If he says, as you grow, I'm going to take other people's land and give it to you, now that now becomes your land. That you can now blow the trumpet, and Yahweh will save you before your enemies. Check that out. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12. This is that thing where you can study Yahweh's law, but you have to understand that the law grows even when it's sitting still. Hebrews chapter 12, and let's start that at verse 1.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
If you run the race with patience, then you understand the length of the race. You understand that it's not about he who jumps out of the block as fast as possible. And that's the way we look at things. We look at people and how fast they achieve this. Look at how this has grown. Look at how much money they have. The race is ran with patience. You slowly keep chucking. You just keep going. And you find that some of those who took off fast at the gate, you pass them on your way down somewhere in the journey. And they not just, you don't just pass them. Now they broke down on the side. Watching you as you slowly go on by. The race is given to him who continues. You gotta keep going. Go ahead.
Looking on to Yahshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your minds. You have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks unto you as unto children. My son, despise not you the chastening of the adnai, nor faint when you are rebuked of him.
Right. Now, a lot of us can say that, but what happens when Yahweh uses another individual to chasten you? See, we can take this as long as it's Yahweh himself. Yahweh got to come to our house.
Kish. I said, Kish. Here I am, Father. You shall be chastised.
All right. We can take that. What happened when he put that chastisement in the hands of another man and had him come to your door? Because understand, you got to be in a position to get something directly from Yahweh. Moshe got his chastisement directly from Yahweh. Was there any man who disciplined Moshe? Every man came against him, end up in a hole or something. Wasn't no man disciplined. Wasn't no man gonna check Moshe. Not and live. You can go ahead and check him. Make sure you put 2 checks on yourself, though. Because you're going to go away from him. The law says, who are you to speak against another man's servant? That's his servant. You let him deal with his servant. That's something that we don't even consider. Do we go in Walmart and start chastising the dude?
That ain't how you fix those shelves. See, if you want to stack that right, so you got to put that.
Do you work here? Well, do me a favor and shut your trap. That's somebody else's servant. He worked for Walmart. Are you part of the Walton family? Then how can you go in here and chastise this person? We don't even think. See, we watch what happens in corporate America, and we think it's normal. We think it's normal to go and do these things. We don't even consider, hey man, you standing right on the line of blasphemy here. Did any of these individuals harm you in anything? Produce your cause. Go ahead.
For whom the adnai loves, he chasteneth.
That's if he love you. Now see, we got a problem with chastisement, but if he don't love you, he not gonna do nothing to you. But what we look at
was been so unfair. Look at all the wrong that brother has done, and nobody has said anything to him.
This is because he's Lucifer's son. Lucifer's happy about all the damnation that he's doing. What Yahweh do, he let his sons get away with it 1 or 2 times. Watch this boy. I know this boy about to go down there and go right down. I bet he turn right into that juke joint. There, I told you. I'm gonna let him go there 2 more times. No, 2 more times. You got 2. You got 2. You got 2. 2. You might not even know what happened. You just hear 2. What you talking about? What was that? What is it?
2.
That's it. That's all you can say. You do it 1 more time. You just hear, saying one day in the middle of the day.
1.
Wait. What you talking about? No. Yahweh, count down. That next time, you head deep in the dirt, upside down. What happened?
0.
Yeah, you ran out. I was done. I kept counting down. You didn't hear me? I said 2, 1, 0. I told you. What the problem is? You hear me? Okay. Go ahead, bro.
And scourges every son whom he receives. If you endure chastening, Elohim deals with you as with sons.
If you endure the chastening, you are a son. If you're confused about where the sons are, watch how they deal with chastisement. That'll tell you if they sons or bastards. That'll tell you if they're sons of Yahweh, our Elohim, or they're sons of the adversary, the devil. What did he say about the Pharisees? You are of your father, the devil, and the works of your father you shall do. All you got to do, if you're confused, just sit back and watch. They will tell you who their daddy is. You ain't got to get no DNA test to figure out if they the son of the adversary of the devil. Just watch their actions. Go ahead.
For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards
There
and
you
not
go.
sons.
There you go. If you are not chastised, you are not a son. But the first thing we do is have a problem with chastisement. Go ahead.
Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which correct us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now, no chastening for the present seems to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
Right. Are you exercised by it? Did you receive the chastening, and did the chastening make you correct your ways? Then there's peaceable fruit of righteousness that has come from that. But if you stiff-necked and rebellious, the chastening didn't do you no good. Because you have already decided what manner of individual you're going to be. You can tell when you're talking to somebody and they ain't really there. You talking, it's like, I'm just waiting for him to finish. I'm just waiting for him to finish. I mean, my body is here, but my mind is on the other side of town. Right. You can tell, you just practice talking. I can tell when I'm talking to one of my kids, I was like, oh, they not here right now. They like, I just wish he stopped talking. That's all right. I just need you to hear this one right there. Cause that next time, Superfly Snooker, I'm coming off the rope. You know what I'm talking about? I'm already one. You know what I'm talking about? I'm already gay, I'm already there, but boy, that Superfly Snooker. When I come out, then don't be like, it was all out of the blue. No, it wasn't blue, you ain't hear me? One. You didn't hear that? You didn't hear that? You didn't hear me? I said it. Go ahead, Brady.
You know, me and one of the brothers was talking earlier, and that's what I was explaining. I said there's a difference between arrogant and ignorance. The arrogant will just keep talking and talking and talking because what? They don't want to deal with the chastisement. Then after a while, it's like, you know what? I'm done. And that's the point that we don't want Yahweh to get with us.
Right.
If you can't even deal with man, when Yahweh says, I'm done, you're in trouble. Because first he sent the servant say, I'm done. Yahweh might say he done too when his servant said he done.
Right. And one of the things is, you know, hey, I've sent this servant on many other things before. He never came back to me and said, I'm done. So why did he say I'm done with you? And understand the power that he put in the hand of the servant. What did he tell Moshe? Beware, I've sent an angel to go before you to lead you in the way. But don't you provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgression. For my name is in him. He ain't got to ask me to do nothing to you. He already has the authority. Whatever he say, that's what's going to happen to you. So I'm going to advise you. Don't let this whole me meeting you in the mountain thing fool you. Me and you talking, me and you dealing with the power that none of your people can deal with. Don't let this relationship ruin that relationship, okay? Don't get it twisted. Me and you, we face to face. We dealing here. But I'm telling you, he gonna kill you. You understand what I'm saying to you? So don't think because we cool, because a lot of people think that, you know, y'all friends and they show up at your job and now all of a sudden they think they supposed to get, you know, free meals. You know what I'm saying? You work at McDonald's, your friend come up there, JP. You know a brother up to the good, no good, when he look down and up at the same time, you know it. Bro, no, bro. Happy Meal $4.99. Come on, dog. I said, come on, dog. Where we going? Where we going in $4.99 plus tax? That's the only place we going. So you think this relationship gon' allow you to disrespect that relationship? No, it's not. And he let him know. And if Moshe couldn't do it, we're talking about an image of the Messiah. Who make you think we gonna be able to do it? If Moshe couldn't do it, I'm talking about the man glowed. He had to put a veil over his face. He He spent so much time with the Spirit, he started changing into a God. Yet he was warned, try not to take that angel off. Check that out. That means Yahweh allowed the angel to have the authority that he had gave him. He didn't cut his authority. Instead, he warned Moshe, don't step on his authority. Remember now, in the beginning, he tells Moshe all these wonderful things. Here, man, I'm going to give you this staff. You're going to do all this, and you're going to do all this right here. And then let him go a little bit further. You know what, I'm about to kill you. Why these kids ain't circumcised? We done with all the talk, all that. He gave Moshe time. Moshe trying to convince his woman, because this is not her culture. She not feeling this circumcision. You know, she just not feeling, this is not her culture. She not liking it. Moshe is taking his time at convincing his wife about Yahweh's culture. See, this is why brothers have the hardest time, especially when they marry outside of their culture, because they don't know which things to negotiate with and which things to say, this is how this is. You know what I'm talking about? Take it or leave it, plait it or weave it, baby, it is what it is. You understand? They don't know what to do. So then they marry somebody out of their culture, and then they too busy negotiating. While Moshe is negotiating with his foreign wife, here come the angel dragging the sword on the ground. When you hear, that's him dragging the sword on the ground. He about to come right across your head. He said, no, I'm about to kill you. Ain't no more negotiation. These kids not going to arrive over there past this line being uncircumcised. Now, how you want to deal with it? I'm going to cut off some skin one way or another. Now, I can either cut off their skin or yours. Who's losing skin here? Simple. At that point, Moshe didn't hear Yahweh. See?
One.
He done told him. All right. He counting down. He done already had these intervals to get this done. Yahweh don't just announce to you and then all of a sudden go and kill you. No. There's a period of time where he has given you grace. You use up all the grace. And then you think Yahweh just came out of nowhere. It wasn't out of nowhere, man. Sit back and count the time. Sit back and count all the time that he sat back and watched you and let you operate. No, you just ran out of time. Go ahead, brother.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 12. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Adonai. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of Elohim, lest any root of bitterness spring up, trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Right. You have to be careful about any root of bitterness. See, a root of bitterness can come from anywhere. Real, false, something that you perceive the wrong way. And that root of bitterness, if something is in the root, it is deep in the ground. It's not something that you can see. Roots are hidden. But all of the tree itself gets its nutrients from the root. So then that means your whole body is being fed evil by this evil root of bitterness that can't nobody see. And you might not even know it's there yourself. Or you done got accustomed to the root of bitterness and you think it's normal. But it's feeding your whole body with bitterness. See, we so busy looking at the leaves on the trees. What Yahweh examined is them bitter roots. And sometimes he got to dig up your ground so he can show you. You see that root right there? Now I got to dig up two of them so you see the difference. You see this root? Now look at this one over here. Do you see the difference between these two? And then you're going to back up. All right, so let me see what you're going to do with that. Now I done showed you two roots. You figure out which one is the bad one and figure out what you think you need to do about it. Now, if you can't figure it out, I'll help you. You might not like how I help you, but I'll help you. But I'm going to first show it to you. But he might have to use somebody to show that to you. Now, when he do that, is that person going to now be your lifelong enemy? Read, priest.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Right, and he already knew that something was wrong with Esau. Who would sell their birthright for a meal? Why would that even come out of your mouth? You can have my birthright this day. Just give me some of those beans. Oh, my God. I ain't never had no beans that good in my life. Go ahead.
For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. For you are not come onto the mount that might be touched, and that burnt with fire, nor onto blackness and darkness and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words, which voice they that heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them anymore.
Right. So then you have to wonder, what makes the voice of the trumpet, the voice of Yahweh, sound pleasing to some and makes others take off running? Is it the frequency of the speaker or the listening frequency of the individual who's listening? See, we learn, just by doing some stuff, blow through a straw a certain way, my dog would take off running. Sound like one of them dog whistles. You just grab the straw and blow in it, the dog, chow, dog out of here. What frequency is that sound? Somebody hearing something different. Nobody else in the room took off when we blew through a straw. Blow through a straw, my dog take off. We hearing at different frequencies. Go ahead.
For they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moshe said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But you are come onto Mount Zion, and onto the city of the living El, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to Elohim the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Yahshua the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaks better things than that of Abel. See that you refuse not him that speaks, for if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape if we turn away from him that speaks from heaven.
Amen. Some of y'all brothers' eyes in here heavy. We're gonna have to put some alarm clocks on some of y'all. Y'all need to learn how to go to bed at night. I don't know if y'all up all night watching the damn internet. I know what I'm up all night doing. I don't know what the hell y'all up all night doing. But y'all gonna wake the hell up in here. Go ahead, bro.
Whose voice then shook the earth, but now he has promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven.
I guess they ain't heard about the brother that was reading in the New Testament and fell out the damn window. He fell asleep while they supposed to be reading.
Was that Zacchaeus?
Go ahead, brother.
And this word, yet once more, signifies the removing of those things that are shaken, as of things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Wherefore, we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace, whereby we may serve Elohim acceptably with reverence and godly fear.
With reverence and godly fear. If you have reverence and godly fear, then there's certain things you ain't gonna do. Go to your job and fall asleep in their meetings and see what they do. You got to prepare yourself for what it is we doing here. This It's Yahweh's day. Like I said, I know why I'm up all night. With too many heads flopping and going on. Go ahead, bro.
For our Elohim is a consuming fire.
All right, and a consuming fire is just that. He not accepting bits and pieces. It says, offer that which is left over to your governor, see if he accept it. Y'all, we're not accepting your leftover. First fruit or no fruit. If you're not going to give him your first fruit, keep the damn fruit. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, has Elohim said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, You shall not eat of it.
Now, we already know the slickness of the adversary. The instruction wasn't given to the woman. The instruction was given to the man. But who does the adversary come and talk to? He comes and talks to the woman because he knows that she has the ability to persuade the man. So when you watching the doors and the windows of your house, are you just looking at yours? You just looking at the door that you come through? Because he'll use her door to get to you. Because he knows her door is a double door. Her door lead to your door. You guarding your door, you not guarding her. For you know it, the adversary is sitting right there on your sofa.
Excuse me, brother, can I get something to drink?
When you get in there?
Your wife let me in. Through her door.
Right. Go ahead.
Neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die.
Uh-huh.
For Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
And we know that according to what's written, it says that the woman was deceived. The man made a decision. His sin was worse than hers. She was tricked. He just made a decision, as it is to this day. Half of the time you see somebody led off with feelings or whatever, it's not the man. It was his wife. But she was able to convince him real easy. Now, why was she able to so easily convince you to take those wrong paths? See, this is why it matters what kind of woman a man get. She has the ability to lead you down wrong paths. And you smiling the whole way on your way to destruction. Go ahead.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
Now, they ate from the tree. They know they're naked. They made aprons. Keep reading.
And they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day.
Uh-huh.
And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden.
Stop. Why? If you have knowledge of good and evil, you know you're naked, but you covered yourself. Why did you still run? What now does the frequency of his voice sound like to you? When I blow in that straw, my dog don't ask me, you know what, did you mean to do that? No, the dog, take off, gone, full speed. There are words spoken, same words as before. Take off, gone. But you're supposed to be smarter now. How is it that you have more knowledge, but at the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, you took off running? You have separated yourself from Elohim. He didn't separate himself from you yet. You were the one that separated yourself from Elohim. See, a lot of times people want to do all these things. No. Who caused the separation? You or Yahweh? Yahweh didn't leave. Yahweh hadn't put them out. They ran when they heard the frequency of his voice. Go ahead.
And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Because I was naked, I hid myself. Even though I knew I was naked, and I covered myself, but I still felt naked when I heard the frequency of your voice. Interesting. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 19. See, there's sometimes that we ought to feel naked even when we clothe. You should know that your clothing is sometimes inadequate. But they didn't know that until they heard his voice. See, this is how you feel good until you get there. Then you realize, you know what? I should have done this better. 1 Kings 19, let's start that at verse 1.
And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah.
Yeah, one of the things you have to understand in this book, that meek does not mean weak. When you look at some of these prophets and the stuff that Yahweh led them to do, you understand that this is not the job for the faint at heart. It's not the job for them people. Because there's some things that Yahweh end up leading you to do that you like, what? You got prophets getting thrown in jail, prophets getting threatened, their life on the line. And the only thing they're doing is saying what Yahweh told them to say. That's what happened when you got to know Israel. See, while everybody ready to throw these Israelite pep rallies, understand something about Israelites. When you get ready to bring that righteous judgment, know that your life in danger. Because rather than straighten up, something, I just kill him. Go ahead.
Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Eliab, saying, So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time.
Swearing to kill Yahweh's servant. Entering into a covenant of death. Go ahead.
And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Yehudah, and left his servant there.
Right. See, people look at the queen, and say, queen of England, and, oh, that's just a woman. Hey, the woman started talking, that man said, oh, I fear for my life. Oh, she's a murderer. She's a murderer. Time for me to go. She mean business. When she said, heads roll. Go ahead.
But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough. Now, O Yahweh, take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him, and said unto him, Arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was a cake baking on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. And he did eat and drink, and laid him down again. And the angel of Yahweh came again the second time, and touched him, and said, Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for you.
Right. Now, instead of just making the journey go away, he's preparing him for the journey. A lot of times we just want the journey to just leave. We just want to, click our heels 3 times and
No place like home.
Instead, he's saying, all right, get this. All right, now get this. All right, now get this. All right, now get this. All right, get ready, because this is going to take a minute. Go ahead.
And he arose and did eat and drink, and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of Elohim. And he came thither unto a cave, and lodged there. And behold, the word of Yahweh came to him, and he said unto him, What doeth you here, Elijah?
Now, you have to understand how Yahweh operates. He tells the man to turn around and eat. He provides the meal. Get ready for the journey. Then ask him, hey, what you doing here? What you doing? What you doing? What do you mean what I'm doing? See, that question is for you internally. Do you know why you're here? See, this is a rhetorical question. This is not a real question. Do you know why you're here? Why are you here? What you doing? Go ahead.
And he said, I've been very jealous for Yahweh Elohim.
So he understood why I'm going through this persecution. I have been jealous for my Elohim, and I have put forth some things. Go ahead.
For the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away.
Right, I know why I'm here. Go ahead.
And he said, Go forth and stand upon the mount before Yahweh. And behold, Yahweh passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains and brake in pieces the rocks before Yahweh. But Yahweh was not in the wind.
Yahweh was not in the wind. Go ahead.
And after the wind and earthquake, but Yahweh was not in the earthquake.
Yahweh was not in the earthquake. Now understand now, all of these things have been used to describe the voice of Elohim. It says the sound was the sound of many waters. The earthquake. Understand? Go ahead.
And after the earthquake, a fire, but Yahweh was not in the fire.
He descends down in fire and consumes the offering. Yet Yahweh wasn't in the fire. So even in earth, wind, and fire, you still ain't gonna find Yahweh. Might be a nice jam, you'll find that. You might dance a little, but you ain't gonna find Yahweh there. Go ahead.
And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so, when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entering in of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him, and he said, What doeth you here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh Elohim of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away.
So he's having this conversation now, and in what seems like a physical tense, whereas before this thing was coming to him, but he's having to say the same thing. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto him, Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus.
But the second time he gets instructions. See, we have a problem.
You know, I already done did that. I don't want to do that again. I done already said that. Why should I have to repeat myself? Hear God, he should have heard me.
He didn't get no instructions on the first time. Instructions didn't come to the second time. So what happened if you done already took off? You know, he's boring you. He's taking too long. Then that mean you going at your own charges because you sure ain't going where he wanted you to go because you didn't stay around long enough to hear the instruction. How could you possibly be following instructions when you didn't stand there long enough to hear what they were? You didn't hear them, you sure can't follow them. Go ahead.
And when you cometh, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu the son of Nimshi shall you anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel Meholah shall you anoint to be prophet in your room. And it shall come to pass that him that escapes the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapes from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him. So he departed thence, and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12th, and Eliah passed by him, and cast his mantle upon him. And he left the oxen and ran after Eliah, and said, Let me, I pray you, kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you. And he said unto him, Go back again, for what I have done to you. For what have I done to you? And he returned back from him, and took a yoke of oxen, and slew them, and boiled their flesh with the instruments of the oxen, and gave unto the people, and they did eat. Then he arose and went after Eliah, and ministered unto him.
All right. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 3. The thing that we have to get out of that is that still small voice. Why, to some, the voice of Yahweh causes them to take off running? But you have to look at all of the suffering that these individuals have already undergone, or where they are in their life when he speaks to them. 1 Samuel chapter 3.
And the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh before Eli. And the word of Yahweh was precious in those days. There was no open vision. And it came to pass at that time, when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And the lamp of Elohim went out in the temple of Yahweh.
The lamp has gone out. There is no light within Israel, signifying the spirit has left Israel because of the dealings that they have allowed to continue in the house of Elohim. See, people have to make a decision whether or not they're going to be friends or leaders. Whether you're going to be the friend of your child, or whether you're going to be the parent and leader of that child. Because you can be a friend of that child just by, agreeing with whatever that child wants and giving that child whatever they ask for. But that child does not learn how to deal with individuals. You are actually teaching that child how to be a horrible social individual. Because this child is then going to learn that he can talk to anybody, treat anybody any old kind of way, and still get whatever he wants. Now, that child going to realize the error of that when he leave that house and he or she says something out of the way to somebody else and they hit him in the mouth. Now, they're totally discombobulated because they're trying to figure out,
I've been cussing my folks out. Why did I get hit in the mouth today?
Your folks did you injustice by not allowing you to feel that hit in your mouth long time ago. Because see, now they hit with guns. See, this time you might get hit with a 38. You ain't no coming back from that. Go ahead.
Where the ark of Yahweh was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. And Yahweh called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli and said, Here am I, for you called me.
Hey, the light is gone out. Eli has allowed his sons to operate in such a way that people despise the offering of Yahweh. There's no spiritual light there. This is why you have to cast out the scorners, the unruly, from among you, or you cause all Israel to suffer. So now all Israel is suffering. Go ahead.
And he said, I called not, lie down again. And he went and lay down. And Yahweh called yet again, Samuel.
Now, ain't no trumpet. Are you able to hear when the trumpet is not a trumpet? Do you move? See, a lot of us, when we blow the shofar in here, be folk already in the parking lot before the shofar stop blowing. But do you hear Yahweh if he show up and gives you direction in your life? Do you move the same way, or you waiting to hear the trumpet? Not understanding that the trumpet already blew. Go ahead.
Here am I, for you did call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know Yahweh, neither was the word of Yahweh yet revealed unto him.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh called Samuel again the third time.
Now look how Yahweh do. See, we want things instantaneous. You know, we the fast food generation. You know,
Look, hurry up. Just supersize this thing so I can go on. Let me get that salvation number 2. You know what? Never mind. You know what? Put some cheese on that. Make sure you put some cheese on my salvation. And give it an extra large salvation cup. I need that. I'm not going to drink all of it, but it's nice to have it in the cup.
right? And make that snappy. Go ahead.
And Yahweh called Samuel again the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for you did call me.
I know I ain't crazy. You did call me. Somebody call you. So at this point, who he has been trained by is Eli. When Yahweh blows his trumpet to Samuel, the voice sounds like Eli's. Read.
And Eli perceived that Yahweh had called the child. Therefore
3
Eli...
times. He think it's Eli. That's who taught him. The voice he hearing is Eli's. Right. Who voice you hearing? Right. Read.
Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go, lie down. And it shall be, if he call you, that you shall say, Speak, Yahweh, for your servant hears. So
Now, at this point, he can speak to him in any tone. He can play any note. But he used the note of his teacher to get his attention. I hope y'all paying attention. Go ahead, brother.
What would it say? Will you answer if you hear a strange voice?
Right. So he's talking to him in the voice that he knows. What did Yahshua say? My sheep follow me because my sheep know my voice. Whose voice are you hearing? Some of us listen to so many damn people, we don't even know what voice.
I was on the internet talking. I caught that venereal disease. I caught that internet VD.
Right. Right.
I done caught a virus.
You're sure you did? Right. It's running all down your ears. I see it. Go ahead.
So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And Yahweh came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for your servant hears. And Yahweh said to Samuel, Behold, I'll do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone that hears it shall tingle. In that day I'll perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the lawlessness which he knows, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not.
Hey, man, you have to listen to the significance of names and the things that people have gone through. It ought to make the hair on your neck turn. Eli didn't lose his salvation for something that he did. He lost his salvation for something he did not do. And you just have to sit back and just pay attention to situations that you have been privy to. And pay attention. Now, if you're gonna lose your salvation, I'm just gonna be just keep it 1,000 with you. Let it be something you did. You got to be super stupid to lose your salvation for somebody else, especially your kid. You know how super stupid you got to be to lose your salvation for somebody else? Hey, I love my kids. But somebody got to make it in the kingdom. And I nominate myself. Even a dumb animal, when one of the legs of the deer go out, they all don't sit there and die with him. They know he about to be a lion's meal. There's a snack pack happening. The lion is licking his chops But you don't see Daddy dear saying,
You know what? We're going to all die as a family.
Daddy dear let you know. He put down that hoof. That to let the mama know. Let's go. All right, rub the antlers one more time. Let's go. And mama and dad and the rest of the family got to go. And he keep limping. And the lion's like, we've been waiting on that. Dad said, look, if we stay here, we all ate. If all of us get together, we're not going to beat the lion. I'm sorry. Junior, it's going to be the last time we see you. Do you have enough wherewithal inside of you to be able to look at one of yours and say, man, I love you? Today, that day. Today, that day. Let's get one last hug. Damn it, I love you, Junior. But to Zion we go. Or you think y'all all gonna die in honor together? Good luck on that. I'll let you know how it go when I get to the kingdom. Read, bro.
Verse 14. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the lawlessness of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever.
So he has caused a problem with his entire lineage by what he refused to do with two boys. You mean you sacrificed your entire house because you would not discipline your seed? See, people, sometimes it is important to go through some of those things so that people, when they're asking for a child, that they understand the weight that's put on them. You do understand if you don't do this, you're going to ruin this, that, and the third. Understand all of this. So Yahweh need to make sure he know that you understand all that before he give you what it is you're asking for. All right, you asking for something? All right, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to teach you this. Now understand, if you act like you don't remember any of them, I'm going to kill you. Because I made sure you heard this. Then I'm going to give you what you asked for. Turn around and worship it more than you do me, and I'm going to kill you. Read, priest.
And Samuel lay on till the morning and opened the doors of the house of Yahweh. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here am I. And he said, What is the thing that Yahweh has said unto you? I pray you, hide it not from me. Elohim do so to you, and more also. If
This
you
had to be a very, very difficult situation. A very difficult conversation to have. Because he know for a fact that Yahweh has talked to this child. He know that all those times, Yahweh was not just calling Samuel. He's letting Eli know that he is calling Samuel. You raised a kid, but the kid that you raised is going to be priest, but not of your seed. Because you didn't discipline your seed, all of your seeds are taken out of the lineage of Yahweh as priests. And the boy who was given you, who you raised, the obedient one. See, the other ones wouldn't listen. They were disrespectful. He done told them, I hear of all your dealings. They didn't care nothing about what he said. They kept on doing what they were doing. Samuel didn't operate like that. He reverenced. You see the difference between reverence? He reverenced Eli. Because he reverenced the position of the priest. See, it didn't say Eli was a bad man. Eli made some bad decisions. His biggest decision was deciding to back them knucklehead boys of his. And what he did when he did that, he turned his back on Yahweh. Nobody at the time understands the magnitude of their decisions, that they have turned their back on Yahweh by deciding they're going to put their family above Yahweh. So understand what that looks like to him. So here it is. I give you a gift, and then you magnify the gift over the gift giver? Really? That's how we're doing this? And we don't even understand that some of our actions say that. So you won't say that out of your mouth. Your actions gonna say that. Go ahead, priest.
If you hide anything from me of all the things that he said unto you. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, it is Yahweh, let him do what seems him good. And Samuel grew, and Yahweh was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground.
Listen that. He let none of his words fall to the ground. So they know when Samuel said something, that's the way it was. When he said he let none of his words fall to the ground, you understand Samuel could be wrong, but he gonna be right. Now that you got to rattle that around. Samuel might hear something wrong. He said, yeah, man, he said he gonna come from the left. Everybody else said, no, Samuel, he gonna come from the right. That's what he said. No, I heard the left. That's what I thought he said. Something gonna happen, and the person not gonna be able to come from the right like they were supposed to, ain't gonna show up in the left. Everybody else gonna be sitting there, but we heard him say right. How did he come from the left? Because Yahweh wasn't gonna let none of his word fall to the ground. Samuel said left, then damn it, the direction just changed. There it is. Y'all heard him, didn't y'all heard? See this Yahweh, y'all heard him? All right, everybody changed. Samuel said left. That's it. Done deal. Ain't no more talking. Because none of his words are going to fall to the ground. That's the honor you get when you serve your Elohim. Did you finish that, brother?
And all Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of Yahweh. And Yahweh appeared again in Shiloh, for Yahweh revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of Yahweh.
All right. Now let's go to Ezekiel chapter 33.
Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 1. Again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast, and set him for their watchman, if when he sees the sword come upon the land, he blows the trumpet and warn the people.
So the warning of the people, they are warned by the sound of the trumpet. But it gets deeper. Go ahead.
Then whosoever hears the sound of the trumpet and takes not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that takes warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his lawlessness, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
So understand, the watchman is the one who blows the trumpet and sounds the alarm for the children of Israel. But understand, Yahweh is using the voice of Ezekiel as the trumpet. So now his words are the words of Yahweh. Did you hear the trumpet? See, we have counsels with people. We have situations where we talk to people. Did you hear the trumpet? Or did you just hear a man talking? Go ahead, priest.
So you, O son of man, I have set you a watchman unto the house of Israel.
I have set you a watchman on the wall, that you are a watchman unto the house of Israel. Did he give him a trumpet? No, he is the trumpet. Go ahead.
Therefore you shall hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
Warn them from me. You, my friend, are the trumpet. Now go blow. What's the matter? You still listening for a trumpet? Oh, you not moving because you ain't heard no trumpet? You didn't hear the right note? You still listening for a musical instrument now? Right. Read, priest.
When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, you shall surely die. If you does not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his lawlessness, but his blood will I require at your hand.
Right. I'm going to require his blood at your hand because it was your job to warn him. The trumpet better blow.
Fool, like, you know what, sometimes, man, sock be extra.
Damn skippy. And I'm going to keep being extra. Because what I don't do, he require it of me. Like I just said, if I lose my salvation, it won't be for something I didn't do. He said, Sock, you did such, check, I did that. But I sure won't be losing my salvation for now one of you knuckles. I lose it, it's gonna be on me. It ain't gonna be on you. Oh, Sock, you didn't want to discipline such and such? You have lost yourself. He gonna come here and find me whooping on one of y'all.
Yo, wait, I didn't know you was coming right now. I was almost finished.
Not finna lose mine for you. You better get on the good foot. Go ahead, priest.
Nevertheless, if you warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his lawlessness, but you have delivered your soul.
I am not held responsible for about what you don't do. I am only held responsible for what I don't say. What I don't implement. See, Eli's problem was he said, but he didn't implement. What he should have done in implementation was remove his boys. They were still in a position that they should not have been in. See, you have to learn how to talk without using your lips. He didn't have to say nothing at all. Just they got ready to do the job, and it was about 10 big burly brothers up there saying, no. Then they would have had to come back. Daddy, we got ready to go and sleep with the women. I mean, pick up the offerings. And they wouldn't let us go in. That would have took care of that business right there. Go ahead.
Therefore, O you son of man, speak unto the house of Israel. Thus you speak, saying, if our transgressions and our sin be upon us, and we pine away in them, how should we then live? Say unto them, as I live, says the Adonai Yah, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn you from your evil ways. For why will you die, O house of Israel?
Now, the trumpet just playing. But they don't hear it. I mean, he going, bum, 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 bum. I mean, he bum, 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 bum. But they don't hear it. They don't hear it. They don't hear the trumpet because they're too busy looking for one. You might be standing right in front of the trumpet. Go ahead, priest.
Therefore, you son of man, say unto the children of your people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turns from his wickedness. Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sins.
You burn all of it up. You set it on fire. So ain't no need to talk about what you did in 1984. You burnt that up in 1985. That's why you got to keep working. See, we too busy counting old things. Remember that time? We like them old dudes talking about high school football. You remember that time? Remember that time I wore number 17 and I put my head down, I came through that and I stood you up. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Boy, stop. Boy, stop. Go ahead.
When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trust to his own righteousness and commit lawlessness, all his righteousness shall not be remembered. but for his lawlessness that he has committed, he shall die for it. Again, when I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life without committing lawlessness, he shall surely live, he shall not die. None of his sins that he has committed shall be mentioned unto him. He has done that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live.
Do you understand the power of that? That means it's not like this person has lived and walked perfect, but at the point that they turn, you have the ability to erase the other things. Yahweh gives you a spiritual eraser, but you too arrogant to use it. Read, brother.
Yet the children of your people say, the way of the Adonai is not equal.
Right. We instead of us dealing with us, we found a problem with the Father. Here it is. He gives you a way to erase your past. What do? We can't even see us because we so busy looking at,
Well, you know, my father ain't right. The way of the father's not equal.
right. Go ahead.
But as for them, their way is not equal. When the righteous turns from his righteousness and commits lawlessness, he shall even die thereby. But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful and right, he shall live thereby. Yet you say, the way of the Adonai is not equal. O you house of Israel, I will judge you every one after his ways.
Right. Now the question is, are you able to hear the trumpet? This is a man who has now been set in the position of being the trumpet. Are you able to hear it? Let's go to chapter 43. Ezekiel chapter 43.
You know what's even interesting about that? Yahweh tells the watchman, I put this on you if you don't do your job. But what people say, who corrects you? Who chastises you?
Right. So it need to be a horn for the horn. The horn is supposed to warn the people. So he need a horn for the horn? Go ahead.
When he was given the job, he was already told who would correct him and who would chastise him.
Exactly.
Ezekiel chapter 43 and verse 1. Afterward he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looks toward the east. And behold, the glory of the Elohim of Israel came from the way of the east. And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory.
You ever listen to the noise of water? Now then multiply that. You understand just how loud water is. Especially we talking about moving water. That water loud. And then it says many waters. There's a vibration in itself that just comes with the water. Never mind the earthquake. Go ahead.
And it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision that I saw by the river Chebar, and I fell upon my face. And the glory of Yahweh came into the house by the way of the gate, whose prospect is toward the east. So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of Yahweh filled the house. And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house, and the man stood by me. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever, and my holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile, neither they nor their kings by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in their high places. In their setting of their threshold by my thresholds, and their posts by my posts, and the wall between me and them, they have even filled my holy name by their abominations. They have even defiled my holy name, by their abominations that they have committed. Wherefore I have consumed them in mine anger. Now let them put away their whoredoms and the carcasses of their kings far from me, and I will dwell in the midst of them forever.
Right. So here it is. you have the trumpet blowing so that the children of Israel will move. Understand, the trumpet is blown for the journeying of the camps, the movement of the people for going to war. Do you hear the trumpet when the alarm is sounded, but the war is going to be against you? Go ahead.
You son of man, show the house of Israel that they may be ashamed of their lawlessness, and let them measure the pattern. And if they be ashamed of all that they have done, show them the form of the house, and the fashion thereof, and the going out thereof, and the comings in thereof, and all the forms thereof, and all the ordinances thereof, and all the forms thereof, and all the laws thereof, and write it in their sight, that they may keep the whole form thereof, and all the ordinances thereof, and do them.
Right. This is a lot of work for the servant. Go ahead.
This is the law of the house. Upon the top of the mountain, the whole limit thereof round about shall be most holy. Behold, this is the law of the house.
Right. Is there a law of your house? Or you just can kind of do it however you want it, however, you feel. Does it move? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 58. Yahweh got a law in his house. And it don't change for nobody.
It says, chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
And here it is. Here's another trumpet that's a man. Everybody hear the shofar when it blow. Because you got natural hearing. It takes spiritual hearing to hear the man trumpet. Go ahead.
Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and forsook not the ordinance of their El. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to Elohim. Wherefore have we fasted?
Take delight into approaching unto Elohim. This is what happened when people on the wrong path, but they see themselves in a right way. Approaching unto Elohim the wrong way can get you killed. Go ahead.
Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and you see it not? Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and you take no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast you find pleasure, and exact all your labors. Behold, you fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as you do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high. Is it such a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Will you call this a fast and an acceptable day to Yahweh? Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, and to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to deal your bread to the hungry, and that you bring the poor that are cast out to your house? When you seat the naked, that you cover him, and that you hide not yourself from your own flesh? Then shall your light break forth as the morning, and shine, and your health, shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of Yahweh shall be your reward. Then shall you call, and Yahweh shall answer. You shall cry, and he shall say, here I am.
Now, so wait a minute. So then, once you do these things, once you listen to the trumpet is able to listen to you. Wait a minute. He says, then shall you call, and Yahweh shall answer. He didn't hear the frequency of your voice, because your heart went right. Now, When you alter your walk, now you and him on the same frequency. See, there's things that we don't think about frequencies. See, we get a speaker and we just say, you know, hey man, this is a nice speaker. There's a lot of sound come out of here. Then you got those sound enthusiasts and they'll say, oh no, brother. This is a speaker. You want to hear music through this speaker. What happens? It's got a different range of frequencies that is produced by the sound of this thing. Okay? Now you hear the sound and it sounds so much better. He wasn't able to hear the frequency of your prayer. Check that out. You a lot of times we sit there and say, Yahweh must have denied my prayer. He never heard it. He wasn't taking that and sitting there all day slapping your prayers down. Get on out of here. Get on out of here. Get that mess up. Throw that bag out of there. No. The frequency of it never went to his ears. This is why some people know, look, man, I done got myself into something. Can I get you to pray for me? My frequency not coming through right now. See, they have some things in studio work where we have things called low pass filter and high pass filter. What does that do? It blocks certain frequencies. When you got a filter and it's filtering out all the lows, only the high frequencies get through. All the lows are blocked. And then vice versa with the other filter. So then you're praying your heart out. But at that moment, what you do in the rest of the moments determines if your frequency get past that filter. Go ahead.
If you take away from the midst of you the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity, and if you draw out your soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall your light rise in obscurity, and your darkness be as the noonday. And Yahweh shall guide you continually, and satisfy your soul in drought, and make fat your bones, and you shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water whose waters fail not. And they that shall be of you shall build the always places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in. If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. Then shall you delight yourself in Yahweh.
Then you shall delight yourself in Yahweh. See, there are some things that we do that we don't consider speaks against the very things that we call ourselves taking up for. He watch your actions. When you put $10 in church, but $50 in the drinking fund, he already know. Oh, this knucklehead to hang out. This hangout time. Somebody take this dude's seat. He already know. You put 10 in church and 50 in the drinking pool?
Yeah, I want to get tore up from the floor up.
Right, and you shall. You shall. Go ahead, bro.
And I'll cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 1. O you children of Benjamin, gather yourselves to flee out of the midst of Jerusalem, and blow the trumpet in Tekoa, and set up a sign of fire in Beth Hasarim. For evil appears out of the north, and great destruction. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. The shepherds with their flocks shall come on to her. They shall pitch their tents against her round about. They shall feed everyone in his place. Prepare you war against her.
Wait a minute. So the trumpet is now sounding, but it's not for you. It is against you. You have decided not to hear the trumpet when it was blown for you. Now the trumpet is being blown against you. Because now war is headed to you. Go ahead.
Prepare you war against her. Arise, and let us go up at noon. Woe unto us, for the day goes away, for the shadows of the evening are stretched out. Arise, and let us go by night, and let us destroy her palaces. For thus has Yahweh of hosts said, hew you down trees, and cast a mount against Jerusalem. This is the city to be visited. She is holy oppression in the midst of her. As a fountain cast out of her waters, so she cast out her wickedness. Violence and spoil is heard in her. Before me continually is grief and wounds. Be you instructed, O Jerusalem, lest my soul depart from you, lest I make you desolate, a land not inhabited. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, they shall thoroughly glean the remnant of Israel as a vine. Turn back your hand as a grape gatherer into the baskets. To whom shall I speak and give warning, that they may hear?
To whom shall I blow this trumpet? I got a concert. Anybody coming? I'm finna blow this trumpet. Who shall hear? Are you able to hear the trumpet when the trumpet is not a trumpet? Go ahead.
Behold, their ear is uncircumcised, and they cannot hearken.
Their ear is uncircumcised. This is spiritual. There ain't no natural circumcision of the ear. So that means that foreskin that's on your ear is spiritual foreskin. Go ahead.
Behold, the word of Yahweh is unto them a reproach. They have no delight in it. Therefore I am full of the fury of Yahweh. I am weary with holding in. I will pour it out upon the children abroad and upon the assembly of young men together. For even the husband with the wife shall be taken, the age with him that is full of days. And their houses shall be turned unto others, with their fields and wives together.
I mean, this pretty heavy. I'm going to give away your house and your woman. See, this is the thing that people don't consider. You dealing with a righteous sister or a sister trying to walk in righteousness, and you keep walking foul, Yahweh will take you out of that situation and give that sister to somebody else who gonna treat her right and allow her to walk in the word, and you walk in the word too. You can think because you the man in the word that you can walk any old kind of way and you can do. That's why some people are no longer in this congregation. Because the last thing they wanted to do is be corrected, and they just want to hear, no, the woman can't do nothing. No. There's a reason why you had to get away from here. Because you're not going to treat the woman in no kind of way and use Yahweh's word to do it. You're going to wake up and find yourself in a ditch that you can't get out of. And he's going to get that woman to somebody else. That's why he said, I'm going to give your houses and your wives. Man, Yahweh tell you, I got you a house. Thank you, Yahweh. You walk in there. Yahweh, it was a woman in there. Yeah, that's yours too. What? My God, love me. Go ahead, bro.
For I'll stretch out my hand upon the inhabitants of the land, says Yahweh. For from the least of them, even unto the greatest of them, every one is given to covetousness. And from the prophet even unto the priest, everyone deals falsely. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly.
This is where we going in neutral, right here. Go ahead.
Saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace.
Right. We just don't want to deal with it.
I don't want to say that because that's my friend.
So you proclaim peace to your friend even though your friend is operating incorrectly? You think Yahweh is pleased in that? Go ahead.
Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? No, they were not at all ashamed.
Right. Too proud to be ashamed. They ain't ashamed. They speak boldly about their wrongs. They ain't ashamed. As it says, you had a whore's forehead. You refused to be ashamed. Speak wrong and proud. Go ahead.
Neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be cast down, says Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh, stand you in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein.
We will not walk therein. I am not going to hear the various trumpets that you have sent among the children of Israel. Keep reading right there.
Also I set watchmen over you.
I have set watchmen over you. This is their job. This is what I have called them to do. Yet we want to question the watchman.
Well, why did you blow this note?
You understand, the watchman is placed on the wall. All right? That means his vantage point is better than yours. Okay, so spiritually, how Yahweh puts him on the wall is because he has been through things that you have not gone through. Because Yahweh has shown him things that he has not shown you. Therefore, his vantage point is further than yours.
But what we say, I'm smart for a dumb knuckle.
Yahweh put him on the wall for a reason. When you're on level ground, you can only see what's in front of you. When Yahweh places him on the wall, his vantage point is such that he can see miles ahead. So when he says, hey, beware, I see you headed for some trouble, because trouble right around that corner.
Man, who are you? Who are you to tell me? Who you think you is?
Right. Go ahead.
Also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken.
Uh-huh. That's far as I want you to go right there. I think we're going to stop right here since we are coming back tomorrow night to keep our Feast of Trumpets. We will begin right here and work our way on from there. That is all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.